I'm Virginia, and I'm from Cherry Hill Middle School, which is in Rhode Island. It's not that far away, trust me. It's only half an hour. Imagine this. You just get back from lunch, excited for dismissal, when all of a sudden your principal's voice echoes throughout the halls, Operation Lockdown. I repeat, Operation Lockdown. Your teacher grabs a bat and tells you to grab a throwable object just in case there's someone actually roaming the halls. He says that throwing the object could mean risking your life, but saving another. And earlier that day, you had waited for your teacher to unlock that same classroom door. Kids and adults everywhere are speaking up about their opinions on gun laws. But the real question is, can kids actually affect change about this? Well, I can assume that everyone here has heard of the Stoneman Douglas shooting in February, right? Well, the kids of the school spoke out in favor of tighter gun laws. And they didn't just shout slogans. They marched for miles. They protested in cities across the United States, and they made people listen. Afterwards, support for stronger gun regulations increased to 68%, and Dick's Sporting Goods stopped selling assault weapons. On March 9, 2018, Florida passed a bill that raises the minimum age to buy a weapon, allows cops to take guns from mentally disturbed people, and more. So yeah, you could say that kids can affect change. I'm here to inform everyone that all of you and me can indeed affect change. So one thing you learn when you're really young is that it's kind of hard for adults to take you seriously. At my school, there was a girl named Sydney Caswell, and last September, one of our teachers lost his daughter, Maddie Potts. Sydney came up with the idea to raise money for the Maddie Potts Foundation, a foundation that was made to give back to the community with funding and scholarships. Sydney had the idea to start the first annual Maddie Potts 5K fun run. But obstacles came along when she was told to ask her parents and maybe have her parents call instead. But above all the obstacles, the event was successfully organized, and it ended up raising over $5,000 for the foundation. And none of it would have been possible without the help of a 14-year-old girl. Sydney had brought our whole community together. Teachers came in support of fellow teachers, friends came in support of fellow friends, and students and volunteers tried to help the Potts family in any way possible. Outside of my town is a girl named Malala. She changed people's views on women's education everywhere. She was only 11 years old when her right to learn was taken out of her life. And about a year later, she spoke up about how it is unjust that girls didn't have the right to go to school anymore. Saying what she believed in made her an immediate target, and young Malala was shot while she was riding the bus. People across the world were concerned about her recovery, but over time, she had recovered and refused to keep her voice quiet. She and her father started the Malala Fund, a charity that was made to give every girl an opportunity to follow their passions for the future. Malala had become a huge inspiration to kids and adults around the world. Along with Malala is Louis Braille. He created the Braille system of reading and writing when he was only 15 years old for the blind and visually impaired. Along with Louis is Easton LaChapelle. He created the first prototype of a robotic arm with only Legos and fishing wire. But he didn't stop there. With using 3D printing technology and self-taught knowledge of robotics, his prototype turned into an actual device that people now use every day. NASA had heard about his invention, and they invited him to be part of their Robonaut team when he was only 17 years old, which is a very young age to be working for NASA. So now you can see what kids can really do, but for all the people out there that are probably thinking, yeah, I could never do that. Just think about the kind of things that a 12-year-old can do, or a 15-year-old can do, and it just might surprise you. So, raise your hand if you think that as a whole there are things that we can improve on. Now keep those hands raised if you've actually done something about it. Okay, put your hands down. So for the people that kept their hands raised, good job, because that usually takes a lot of courage. But for those of you that put your hands down after that second question, It's not too late to do something. Here are the things that you need to know. Don't let other people's opinions weigh you into thinking one way or another. A lot of the things that we do are based on the things that our peers do. And that can cause you to weigh into an opinion that you might not be able to side with. Another thing that you can do to get your voice heard, because I'm just an 8th grader with not much freedom, and it's hard to get my voice heard. Well, one thing you can do is you can grab anyone that you trust, friends, family, parents, anyone that you know that can make your voice heard. Grab them. Tell them what you're thinking. And if it doesn't work, then try again. Don't let a small setback restrain you from what you believe in. And imagine what our world would be like if all of the kids I named before, like Sydney and Malala and anyone else, had to use their voice. Would there be protests on tighter gun laws? Would girls have the ability to go to school? Or would we be left with a world of silenced youth? I'll let you think about that. Thank you.